Are your glutes weak? Why are they weak? How can you tell if they're weak? Before you do your next leg day, booty day, or even if you've been dabbling in that glute activation stuff you've been hearing about, you're gonna wanna make sure that you check out this video. So I'm gonna start with the why. Why are our glutes so weak? Why do many of us have this issue? And at the end, I'm gonna show you a couple of different tests you can do and some signs that you're looking for to maybe show you that you have an underlying issue with this problem. So also stay tuned because in follow-up videos, I'm going to be showing you some exercises that you can do to strengthen up your hips and your glutes, but also some common mistakes that I see with these exercises. Just some small tweaks can help you get a lot more out of these exercises and not waste your time. So let's start from the beginning, like I said, and talk about why our glutes are so weak and so lazy. And it really doesn't mean that you are weak or you are lazy or anything like that, I promise. It just means that your glutes are not firing properly. And this could be for a lot of different reasons. It could be a forearm and movement pattern issue. It could definitely be from a past or current injury. And a lot of times subconsciously, especially if it's an injury, if something is injured in our bodies, we move away from kind of pissing off that injury. And we start creating those bad movement habits that maybe are causing our glutes not to fire properly. So that can definitely be one of the big factors, but I won't say that that's for most of us. For most of us, the reason that our glutes are not firing properly is because we sit on our butts far too much during the day. So you're sitting in your car, you're sitting at work, you're sitting when you're eating, you're sitting when you get home and sit on the couch. Our glutes are just not active during the day. So even if you work out every single day, when you finally get to that 1 hour when you're getting active during the day, then you're finally asking your glutes to fire and they're like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. So that's why our glutes aren't firing properly. Our bodies are masters at kind of just figuring things out and compensating when we have a muscle that's either injured or not firing properly. And in our glutes case, that's gonna be our lower back and our hamstrings. So if a lot of times when you're doing legs, your lower back starts hurting or your hamstrings start getting really tight, this could definitely be one of the issues that you might not even know that you're having a problem with. And we need to strengthen up those glutes, and you might see some of those issues above and below your glutes kind of alleviating. So let's talk about what you need to look for to see if you have this issue. And we always need to kind of keep an eye on this kind of thing because like I said, it could just be us getting into a bad habit as far as our movement patterns are concerned. All of a sudden our glutes aren't firing properly. So it's not like riding a bike. Even if you're more advanced, pay attention to some of these things that you want to look out for. Okay, so for the first exercise I'm gonna show you, you're gonna lay on your back, feet flat on the floor, no equipment needed. You're going to make sure your feet are about hip width apart, knees are bent, core nice and tight. So you're just gonna do a simple hip bridge. You're bringing your hips all the way up, making sure that you're in full hip extension. So there should be a straight line through your body here. And the first thing you kind of want to see is, are your glutes staying tight? Do you feel the tension through your glutes? If you feel like your glutes are relaxed, but your hamstrings are cramping up a lot and your lower back is hurting, then this is already a sign that we have an issue here, okay? So you want to feel a lot of tension through those glutes. The hamstrings should be helping. You should feel that your core is tight, but most of the work right here, all right? So from here, you're up nice and tall. If you can get into this position well, then you're going to just bring up one foot. And what you want to see here is that the hips stay square to the ceiling. And two things I don't want to see is if I bring my foot up and the hips either drop or start rotating, then this is already a sign that either the core is weak, but more likely the glutes are weak, okay? So once again, we're just pushing through the heels, getting those hips up nice and high, feeling that squeeze in our glutes, picking up one foot and keeping those hips nice and tight. You want to test both sides, so if you could hold that for a few seconds, bring that foot back down, nice and tight up to the top again, and lift that other foot. Again, the hips aren't moving, they're not rotating, and that's exactly what you want to see. So a good kind of practice here is just that march, nice and slow and control, time under tension, make it work. All right, so the second test that you're going to see is the lunge. So as long as you don't have any knee issues already that you're trying to work through, we don't want to recreate pain, but you're going to go ahead and take a big step forward, get into that nice big lunge, hip open here, all right, nice straight line through that hip. And what I don't want to see again is the hips turning or dipping or rotating. So if you see that one hip kind of come up to the side, and this might be a little bit exaggerated to what you're doing, might be a smaller movement than that, but you want to see the hips staying square, parallel to the ground, and not moving during that lunge position. So core nice and tight, and see on both sides if those hips are dipping and rotating out to the side. Now, you might be just strong enough to kind of work through that even if your glutes are a little bit weak. So another option is to grab a heavier dumbbell. You're gonna hold it to the side of the leg that's not working. So if I'm using my left leg, I'm holding it in my right hand. I'm going to take a big step forward, and same exact thing, we're trying not to let these hips dip. So if you see one hip start kicking out to the side, this is definitely a sign that those glutes are weak, okay? You should be able to keep those hips even and squared to the floor. Okay, so those were two of the tests that you could do. Now, that's not an exhaustive list by any means. So there's plenty of other tests out there. That's just two that you can start trying out that have limited equipment that you need to test it out. But if you continue to have issues, I always highly recommend having a good physical therapist on your team. So make sure that you're getting checked out by your doctor if you continue to have issues. Other than that, I hope this video helped. Again, stay tuned for the next video where we go over exercises and common mistakes. That's key. See you next time.